Hi everyone and welcome to Creative Chelsea. Today I'm excited to share with you my August 2022 Artisan Design Team project. I was asked to use the Fond of Autumn bundle. This includes the Fond of Autumn stamp set and the Autumn Bouquet dies. And I really love these dies. There's so many fun things you can do with them. Today we're just going to be using them in one way. But if you're interested in seeing more options that you can create if you have this bundle, you can check out my online class. So I did a class with this bundle and then with the Hello Harvest bundle, and you can check that out, and I will link it up here in the top right corner. And in that class, I give you lots of fun ways to use both of those stamp sets. I know I'm a little late to the fall, autumn, Thanksgiving cards and decor, but as I was cleaning out my craft space recently, I noticed that I never shared these projects with you. I especially want to share them with you to create a fun and quick and easy way to color these envelope treat boxes. And I feel like the colors I've chosen for these projects are easy to transition from fall into winter. So you really can give them to anyone at any time by just switching up the greeting. If you are new to my channel and want to see more of my videos, click on the subscribe button and then the bell for notifications. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and help you with any of your paper crafting needs. To purchase any of the products you see me use today, you can visit my online store, and the link is below in the description. So let's begin by coloring and stamping on this cute box. So this is the envelope treat boxes. It comes looking like this. There are 10 of these in a pack, and you also get these cute gold foil stickers as well that you can use. And I've seen these used in so many fun ways, and today I'm just going to share with you one way to use them. So I wanted these to coordinate with my card, and my card base is balmy blue. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to spritz it with balmy blue ink. And what I have here is a Stampin' Spritzer, and I filled it with rubbing alcohol. And I like to use rubbing alcohol because it evaporates faster than water. So you fill it up and then you add as much of the re-inker as you want to make it either dark or light, depending on your preference. And then you're going to find a space where you can spritz it without ruining any of your projects. And so I like to use my leftover paper pumpkin kit boxes. I think they're perfect for this type of technique. And then you just start to spritz it. And you spritz as much as you can all over. And then you give that a minute to sit. And if you need to add more, you can. Okay. So you will see that it kind of starts to bubble up a little bit. Just give it a minute for it to soak into that paper. So as we wait for that to dry, let's go ahead and stamp our image. And I am stamping this nice large floral image in early espresso ink on some basic white cardstock. You might want to use your paper piercing mat to give it a little bit of a give so that you can get a nice solid image. It's such a pretty image and you can use it in so many ways. So we're going to be using this one image for both of our projects today. And so I'm going to just show you how I decided to color this. So let's start with the flowers. So the flowers are on my box, and you can see here that I've got my flowers are blue. I've got some Cajun craze for the center and those little circles around the middle, and then So Saffron inside. So I decided to do 2 of my flowers using the light balmy blue, and then one of my flowers has dark balmy blue for the petals. So I like to get most of my color down with my brush tip, and then you can go back in with your fine tip and just do the areas around the edges and the center just to fill in any of those spaces. And then I'm going to take the dark, and I'm going to start by just adding a little bit of dark balmy blue inside these light petals. And then take the dark balmy blue and do this small flower in the back in all dark. So then let's do the centers. Let's do a little bit of light So Saffron first in all the centers. And then we can take some dark So Saffron and just add a little touch of darker color to one side. Then we'll take the Cajun Craze, and you can choose either between the light or the dark. I think I'm going to go with the light first. And then you're just going to add that to all these little dots that are around the center of each flower. And I'm using the fine tip brush for this. And then just a little bit in the center as well. All right, so then for the leaves, and I've done all the leaves the same for my whole image. So I am using shaded spruce, and I'm going to start with my light shaded spruce for all the leaves, and then I'll go in with some dark shaded spruce and add just a touch of shadow and depth to the images. All right, so it's going to look something like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and repeat that for these other images exactly the same way. So all the leaves are colored, and we can move on to the berries here. So the berries I've done in the Cajun Craze. So we start with the light Cajun Craze, and we fill in the entire berry. I'm going to use my fine tip for this. And then you take the dark Cajun Craze and just add a little bit of shadow. And we're going to repeat that step for these berries on the other side as well. So you can see a close-up of those berries and how adding that little bit of shadow really makes them pop. So our flower image is all done. So let's move on to the acorns. So for these, I am using some light and dark crumb cake. So you want to begin by coloring the entire acorn in your light crumb cake. And then we're going to go inside and add some other colors for details. So then you're going to go with your dark crumb cake and add some shadows. And then you can also take your dark crumb cake and do the stems that connect the leaves and the acorns together. And use your fine tip for that. And then we're going to take the dark Cajun Craze, and we're just going to add a little color. I'm going to use my fine tip. A little color into each one of these sections on top of the acorn. And you don't need to fill in the whole thing. You want there to be a little bit of space so that they feel individual. So your image is now all colored in, and we're ready to cut this out. So one of the things that I love about the Autumn Bouquet dies is that you can cut this image out 3 different ways. So you can cut it out all together using this outside line, or you can even add this really beautiful detailed die on the inside of that. And that's really pretty. And you can cut it out with the stamp, or you can use that die alone, or you can cut it out in sections. And that's the one we're going to use today. So I'm going to use a little washi tape to hold it in place, and you're just going to line it up, and it's going to cut out each one of these separately. And I just love that it can be used together, or these images can be separated. So you can see how easy that is to cut all of those pieces. I just love it. All right, so let's go back and check on our box now. So it looks like it is all dried. So there is a little bit of a color difference here. It's a little darker, and there's a little bit of a line. I'm not sure if you can see that on the video, but I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to stamp on this now. I'm going to use that same image we used earlier, and it's just going to give me some nice texture to the background and kind of hide any color imperfections. So make sure to ink it up really well and use your paper piercing pad underneath to give it a good image. And you want to stamp on the whole thing. So I'm just going to start on one side and then work my way down. Don't you love how that looks? It's so pretty. Be careful if you stamp on these little plastic adhesive covers because the ink won't stick because it is plastic. So you will get that on your fingers. So that is ready to put together. So let's go ahead and fold along those score lines. It's a pretty easy image or box template to put together. So we're going to first remove the plastic adhesive covers, and then that plastic gets folded in and it attaches to the wall next to it. So that's the side. See that? And we're just going to repeat that for all 4 corners. All right, so then we're going to fold all these pieces in, and I'm going to do the sides first, and they connect like that. So it's super cute. And then this can come down and this can fold inside. There's a slit that you can fold inside there like that. So that's where it gets its envelope name. So there's your box, and now we get to decorate it. So I have a strip of this beautiful distressed gold paper, and it is 1.5 inches by 9 inches. And what I'm going to do is just wrap it around my box so that I know that it's going to fit. So on one end, I'm going to connect it, or I'm not attaching it to my box, but I'm going to line it up with one edge on the bottom of my box, come up, and then just kind of score it with my fingers as I move all the way around my box. And then when I get back down, I want to make sure it's nice and even with that bottom piece. So it looks like I have a little bit of overhang, so I'm going to take a pair of paper snips and just trim off a little bit on the bottom like that. And then I can add that, adhere that to the other piece with a little bit of tear and tape. Let's just double check. There we go. So this is the piece here that I want to add the tear and tape to. And then make sure that everything is lined up so it's not crooked on your box. Okay, so that's a really simple way to create a belly band if you don't want to score it. So from that belly band, we are going to add a couple things. The first is a little bit of ribbon to go around. So again, maybe a little bit of tear and tape. And I'm going to add the ribbon to the bottom half of that tear and tape, and it's just here on the left side of my belly band. And then I'm going to connect when I come back around to the top half. So that's going to be connected like that. So they're not tied together. It's just adhered to the front. And then I am going to actually add some more ribbon in kind of a faux bow behind my greeting and behind my flower. So I'm going to add a little adhesive there to hold everything in place. So now that I have some adhesive on my belly band, I'm going to add 12 inches of ribbon to create my faux bow. So right there in the center. And then instead of folding it right on top of it itself, I'm just going to twist it. And that's going to give me a really nice full looking bow. So that's one side. And then twist the other side. And if you need to add any more adhesive, you can do that as well. I might do just a little more adhesive right in the middle so that top piece holds on a little bit better. Just make sure your adhesive stays off of the box and only stays on the belly band. So I'll do that one again. So twist it. So you'll get something like that. And then we're going to take our flowers and we're going to add it in the center of our bow, but you don't want to add the adhesive to your flower because you want to keep it off of the box because you want to be able to slide your belly band. So a couple dimensionals there, and then add your flowers right to the center of your bow. So cute. And then I have my greeting, and I have stamped it on a strip, 1/2 inch strip by 2 3/4 in Cajun Craze. And that just goes right in the center of those flowers with dimensionals. You again want to make sure those dimensionals connect with your belly band and not with your box. And that box is all done. So cute. It's really perfect for maybe your Thanksgiving Day table or a cute little neighbor gift. You could change the greeting and it be more winter if you wanted to, because those colors work really beautifully for a winter party as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do our card next. It's a very similar look. We have that stamping in the background. So I've got a card base of Balmy Blue, and I am going to stamp it with Balmy Blue ink with that same image again. And I just need to focus along the edges because the center is covered up. Okay, so something like that to begin with. So next I want to layer on some pieces. So my first piece is some more of that beautiful distressed gold paper. It's 3 inches by 5 inches, and I am going to add this to my card at an angle right in the center. So something like that. I love the texture that that paper brings to my project. Then I've got a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock. This piece is 2.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and I am actually going to add it right to the center of my card here. So it's going to go from the top to the bottom. Then I have a piece of vellum. This piece is 2.5 inches by 5 inches, and I want to emboss it. And I've got this really beautiful fall embossing folder. It's called Leaf Fall. I'm not sure if you can see, let me get some color behind there, but it's got some really pretty leaves that are not all over. We've got some open spots, so it does look like some leaves are falling. And I'm going to emboss my vellum over here where those leaves are. Just going to run that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love the look of embossed vellum. It is so pretty. It can tear a little bit. Just because it's not as flexible as regular cardstock. So just be careful of that. I'm adding some adhesive in the center, and then I'm going to place this over the middle at an angle, maybe an opposing angle to the gold paper there. So all those beautiful layers and textures. All right, so let's do a little layering, and then we're going to finish off this image with just one more little tip that I want to share with you. So I have already cut and stamped the banner from the Fond of Autumn. So there's this really beautiful, cute, simple banner that you can add greetings to, but I wanted to just add it as kind of a grounding piece. I've got some dimensionals on the back, and that just goes right in the center of my card, maybe a little lower than the middle. And then I've got my greeting, and I've stamped that in Cajun Craze and cut it out with one of my layering circle dies. And that just goes, make sure everything's nice and straight, off to the right side. And then we're going to take this image and add it to the left. So just make sure everything is looking the way you want it to. Just really quickly, do you notice that I've got the white cardstock as the background to this image? But for my card, I've got blue. And so I want to share with you just a really quick tip on how you can do that. And I am going to use, I think my light Balmy Blue is the color I want to use here. And you just fill in all the white spaces with your Stampin' Blend markers. I'm going to use the fine tip. So it's a little time consuming, but it gives this really nice look to your images when you don't want that white border to peek out. So just go carefully all the way around your image and cover up that white. Do you see how that just really changes the image? It's perfect for our card. So now we're going to add some ribbon to the back of our acorn piece. And I'm just going to do it from the spool. So start with some adhesive in the center. Any type of adhesive will work. You just want to make sure you have enough for your ribbon to connect to. And then you're going to begin, so the tail comes off, and then you're going to wrap it. And I like to wrap it around my finger. Now you'll notice that I am doing the fold technique here. And the reason for that is because I do have it on a card, and so I want it to not be so three-dimensional like the box. I want it to be a little flatter so that it will mail nicely and not get all crinkled up. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Just come around and fold it. And then at the end, go ahead and trim to an angle. And we want to kind of wrap around the greeting here. So just come nice and close to the circle that you used. And any size circle will work. If you have those layering circle dies, you can just pick one of the sizes that you prefer. So the very last thing that I want to do is add some of these brushed metallic adhesive dots. And I love these gold ones. They go so nicely with the distressed gold paper. So go ahead and just tuck those in and around your images. So now your card is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching me create these fun autumn fall themed projects that would work perfectly as some winter projects as well. If you're interested in getting written instructions or seeing close-up images of how I created these cards, you can visit my blog, creativechelsea.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a creative day. Bye.